Hello, it's me, Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist, and get ready to have your mind blown. You ready? Okay, so a lot of people claim that God exists because God had to have created the universe. Everything we see had to come from somewhere, right? So it had to be God. God was there at the beginning, and God created everything. Well, I've made this argument before that we don't necessarily need God, and everyone say, well, the universe had a beginning, the Big Bang. All the scientists agree the Big Bang was the start of the universe, so there had to be something that caused the Big Bang. Well, okay, fine. But if the universe, if the universe had to have a creator, had to have something to start it, something had to start that something, which is God. And if God, to have created the universe, had to have always existed, what if the universe has always existed? The extended universe. The extended universe has always existed, then once again there doesn't need to have ever been a God because it would have already been there, right? So what do I mean by the extended universe? Well, for those of you in the know, what we know of the universe is about 4%. The rest of it's dark energy, dark matter. We don't really know what it is. We know it's there, but we don't really know what it is. So we know roughly 4%. 96% we don't really know. And that's the extended universe. The universe, from what we do know to what we don't know, that's the extended universe. So suppose that the Big Bang is just what brought forth what we do know of the universe. That 4%. The Big Bang created the 4%. The extended universe has always been there, and it was the birthplace, birth creation of the known universe. Because that's what we have. We have the known universe, and we have the unknown universe. We have the 4% that we know, and then we have the 96% that we really don't know. We're guessing. Just like everyone else guesses about God. We're guessing about the universe. Now, people like, Lawrence Krauss and Sean Carroll and, Neil deGrasse Tyson will probably say, you're talking out of your ass, man. And actually, that would be kind of cool if they did. But I just want to put it out there. I want to put out there that we have the known universe. The known universe came from the Big Bang. The known universe is 4%. 4% is what we feel we have a grasp on. 4% of the universe. 96% we don't really know. We're just guessing at. We're grasping at straws. So maybe God exists in that 96%. But what if that 96% is timeless? What if that is what is beyond space and time? Because the known universe is space and time. But we know. The unknown universe is beyond space and time. So what if that's always been there? Then there didn't need to be something that came before it because it was always there. I mean, if God could have always been there, then the unknown universe could have always been there. So we wouldn't need a God. So think about that. If your whole reason for believing that there is a God is because you cannot conceive of where everything came from, and the whole idea of the Big Bang is like, I can kind of believe that. But you need something to have come before the Big Bang because you think the Big Bang was the beginning. Something had to become before the beginning. And I can kind of relate to that. But what if the Big Bang came out of the 96% that we don't know that's always been there and didn't need a creator? It's dark energy, dark, we don't know what it is. It could have always been there. And that created the Big Bang. Don't need a God. And everything else happened by happenstance. Doesn't have a great meaning. It doesn't need to have a great meaning. My life is very meaningful. It doesn't need to have meaning in the context of the universe. The universe could give a fuck about me. Really, if I go out beyond our atmosphere, I'm fucked. So The universe doesn't care. And if God created the whole universe for us, then come on, really? Come on. So the universe has always been there. We don't need a God to have created the universe because we have 96% that we don't really know that could have created what we do know. So just putting it out there. Think about it, please. I'm Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist, and I'm not trying to disprove God. I'm not trying to convince you that there is no God. I just want you to think about what you believe and why you believe it. Because God, for thousands of years, has been the answer to the questions that people didn't have answers for. And we're getting to the point where we're getting answers for everything. But people are so used to the idea of God. God has become so habitual in the minds of society that they can't conceive a world without a God. And they either have forgotten or they refuse to acknowledge why people believed there was God for so long. They just know that people believed in God for so long that God must be real. When God was created by man to answer the questions. And now man is able to answer the questions. And I'm not saying there is no God. I'm just saying the reasons we believe in God are no longer really valid. And I want you to think about that. Why you believe in God. Do you believe in God because you've had a personal experience that you can share and other people can have the same exact experience? I'm guessing not. You believe in God because that's what you have always been told. Because your parents have always been told that. And their parents have always been told that. And on and on and on and on and on. God has become so habitual in the minds of society, they just can't let it go. Fortunately or unfortunately for me, my parents tried to tell me God was real. And I was like, it doesn't make any sense. So I never fell into that trap of God being real. And I know lots of people who spent their entire lives believing God was real, who now are thinking, no, God probably isn't real. And that's all you can say. God probably isn't real. I'm not saying God isn't real. I can't prove God isn't real, so why should I say it? All I can say is God probably is not real. But all you Christians and all you Muslims and all you Jews and all you whoever does believe in a very specific God that you created in your heads, that God is not real. That God is made up because there's documentation. There's proof. We can see, here's where your God came about. And turns out that it's just a copy of somebody else's God. That's a copy of somebody else's God. That's a copy of somebody else's God. So just think about this. The known universe, 4%. The unknown universe, 96%. Could have always been there. And if it's eternal, beyond space and time, that's God. No plan, no action, just is there. The unknown universe created the known universe. And God's got no plan. God's got no reason. Just God is dark energy and dark matter. That's God. How about that? Can that be God? Can God be dark energy and dark matter that doesn't give a flying fuck about you? Or is that too uncomfortable? Can we just let God be dark energy and dark matter and just is there? And it created the universe with no plan, no design, no thought. Just is there and, it's what it does. And you're not part of it. You're just a happy accident. You're a happy accident of the Big Bang. There doesn't need to be a God. I know you want to believe there's a God, but there doesn't need to be a God. And the stories you've been told, look at those stories. Think about those stories. Think about Noah. Think about just walking on water and wine into, or water into wine. Think about those stories. Do they really make sense? No, they don't. So, anyhow, is your mind blown? Have you thought about it? Are you thinking about it? Are you thinking, is God really real? Or just what I want God to be real to me, specifically? Because the God you believe in is very different than everybody else's God. Each God is very individual. It's a handy thing that God believes everything that you believe. Imagine that. I know you like to say, well, I was created in the image of God. I am God's work of art. Coincidence? No. It's in your head. So I just putting that out there too. Anyways, I don't hate Christians. I'm not attacking Christians. I'm not making fun of Christians. Specifically, I'm making fun of all of you, but there's just a lot of Christians that get worked up about it. Muslims don't get upset with me. Well, they probably do, but they haven't told me. But Christians think, oh, well, you're always attacking Christians. Well, because you're the ones in my face going, oh, yeah, we don't want you to go to hell. We be blessed. Bless God. Jesus bless you. And just tell me, Santa Claus is looking out for me. Santa Claus is checking out if I'm naughty or nice. Because Santa Claus is as real as what you believe. So there. I'm Tom, your friendly neighborhood atheist. And, okay, this really is the end. Bye.